WeaverCooke, we are a wood frame contractor that builds multifamily projects all over the Carolinas.
There were times we did commercial work and we did other things, but we found that our sweet spot was habitational work.
Resilience, the innovation that I feel like WeaverCooke has had over the years to stay ahead of the curve, I feel like those are all things that are kind of rooted in what makes WeaverCooke great. W.H. Weaver started WeaverCooke in 1939.
Herman Weaver started the company out of his garage. He started out building single-family homes. One of his goals was to provide housing where it's needed. World War II caused an immediate need for military housing across the United States. WeaverCooke answered that call and built more than 1,000 units of military housing. At that time, Herman brought his son Mike Weaver into the company, and then Mike Weaver became president. In the 1960s, we pivoted to doing more commercial construction. Commercial office buildings, airports, industrial buildings, but we kept that affordable housing space near and dear to our hearts. We sort of evolved with the market, and that's something that WeaverCooke does very well. Mike ran the company all the way up until the late 1970s, and then he hired Roy Manus to become president. During Roy's tenure, we completed the Melvin Municipal Building in downtown Greensboro, and we built Wellspring Retirement Center, which was kind of unique. Again, it goes back to our housing roots. Mike, who was owner of Weaver Construction at that time, then sold the company to Milton Kirkland out of High Point, North Carolina, who owned Kirkland Construction. He made Mike Cooke president and gave Mike 10% of the company. And then we branded our name WeaverCooke at that particular time. In December of 2002, Milton hired a new president, Dan Estes. Dan was very innovative. His forward thinking separated us from our competition, and Dan was a visionary. He brought in things like lean construction, and one of the things that he did was we hit a recession in 2008 and 2009. It was very difficult, and we were having to make some tough decisions, and really it was about, are we going to be able to keep the doors open?
My first job with WeaverCooke was Greenbridge. It was a $50 million condominium project that was being built at the beginning of the Great Recession. So you really got to see a company face the circumstances for the next 5 years.
That was really probably the hardest time we went through with no work at all anywhere.
If you look at our timeline as a company, we've always adapted, right? We've had to pivot. We've had to make some tough decisions in terms of what work we're going to pursue, how we're going to go about doing that. So at that time, we took on some projects out of state. I mean, just to keep bread on the table, so to speak. What Dan was magical at was thinking outside the box. How do we adapt? And I think really during that time, he made WeaverCooke the prominent builder of affordable housing in North Carolina.
Our affordable housing reputation is what feeds us and what makes us great.
60–70% of our work is affordable housing. That kind of ensures that we have a good backlog of work, both currently and into the future.
We have the best name in the affordable housing space, have the best reputation in that space. I mean, I hear it every day. WeaverCooke is the gold standard when it comes to building affordable housing.
I think the thing that Dan probably has taken with him through his time here at WeaverCooke was really, I mean, he was kind of at the forefront of always looking for the next thing. Prefabricating framing is probably his biggest legacy, I would say, here at WeaverCooke.
Yeah, around 2009, Dan started pushing the building panelization. It took a little while to develop and developed into the pass units.
He was the visionary behind the pass system and Phoenix framing. Anytime I can tell a client that we're self-performing work such as framing, paint and drywall that we're doing here currently today at WeaverCooke, clients love the fact that we're self-performing the work and that we're taking full control, we're owning it, and the quality's there each and every day. Talk about some of the great things that he did for WeaverCooke, but one of the best things he ever did was find Milton Kirkland a partner, someone that aligned with Milton's values to purchase the company. Dan has a peer group that he's been involved with for 12 to 15 years, and he knew Tim Showalter, who owns Pioneer Construction based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
You know, it was through the relationship that we had in the peer group that Pioneer Construction became interested in learning more about WeaverCooke's business.
And they're a big commercial contractor that builds hospitals and stadiums and industrial buildings, big commercial work. One of the cool things was that Dan and Tim formed a great relationship. You know, they had sort of similar ways of doing business and how they valued clients and how they valued their people, and they aligned very well.
You know, sharing ideas over the years about the challenges and the difficulties that a construction company faces, and also the good things that each company was doing over the years.
So September 1st, 2024, Pioneer Construction bought WeaverCooke.
Tim Showalter, through the whole process, said, I don't want to change who WeaverCooke is.
I think he recognized that, hey, I need to let this team at WeaverCooke do what they do best. They've been very successful, and so we've kept our name, we've kept our brand, we operate as our own business, and Tim is now our big brother.
It was funny, I asked Tim at one of the meetings before the deal went through, is why was he interested in buying the company? And you know, he really referenced the relationship and the respect that he had developed for WeaverCooke and what we do. And it was kind of meaningful. He said, you know, it's because WeaverCooke had a need for a new owner, and I felt like I had the runway and the ability to, you know, step in and keep moving WeaverCooke forward into the future as they currently are.
And again, we think we align very well with Pioneer, and we're excited to have them as our new owner.
So now Tim Showalter is the CEO, and as Dan Estes retired at the end of February in 2025, you know, now I'm the president of the company.
As of March 1st, 2025, we promoted one of our own who was an intern here in 2007. Steve Allison became president. I like to say that Steve is a man of the people. He came through the ranks as an intern, project coordinator, project manager, senior project manager, and then COO, and here we are now. And so it was a natural progression, and one that all the employees at WeaverCooke recognized was the right move, and it's a unique story to tell.
If you come in open-minded with a positive attitude, willing to learn, you know, everybody will gravitate towards you and want to help you succeed within this company.
I would say from the time that I came to WeaverCooke, even without having a lot of experience or really any experience in doing what we do, I always felt like I was empowered. You ask questions and you've kind of figured it out. You go as far as you want to with things.
It shows employees that, hey, we do promote from within and we value our own, and we want you here long term.
When you're talking about a company that's been in business for 85 years, you know, there's a balance between if it's not broken, don't fix it, but it's also don't get caught in a rut and be afraid to innovate and change for the future. And so I'm very conscious about continuing to innovate both with technology and building practices. I want the people that are working here to feel like WeaverCooke is going to stay at the top of what we're doing, and we're going to be looking for ways to make sure that we stay at the cutting edge of multifamily building and being able to branch into other industries as we see them as opportunities and that would be a good fit for WeaverCooke.